Discovering and appreciating new music is the core of our show, and the fun is multiplied when that discovery opens the door to decades of music and albums. Today, Michael discusses his gateway to the band Dinosaur Jr. with the song Get Me. Welcome to I Got a Song. Okay, everybody, welcome back to I Got a Song. You know what we are, Clay? We are an average podcast about exceptional music. Welcome.
I agree.
Welcome, one and all.
Nicely
My name
said.
is Michael. I'm one of the hosts, and I'm taking the reins on this particular episode. And along with me in this great ride is Clay. What's up, Clay?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm very pleased to be with you again today.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. This is episode 39. What is it, Clay?
Episodio 39.
Ah, yes. Muy bueno, gracias.
I don't have a 39 episode prepared in a different language.
No, well, you know what? Spanish is good enough for me. We'll just roll with that. All right,
well,
man.
I'm glad it's good enough for you because it's good enough for about a billion other people as well. So.
Correct. Thank you for that. Dripping with.
Welcome
disdain.
to the show.
Yeah. So here we are. All right. This is I Got a Song. So what we're going to do here is we share music with each other, and in doing so, share this music with all of you listening. And how we do that is, since it's my turn to host, I've picked out a song ahead of time. Clay does not know the song yet, although he will learn it here rather shortly. You all listening, you do already know this song, and you're going to be kind of along for the ride as I reveal the song to Clay and we discuss it. So, little admin stuff. We had been on a bit of a break. We normally record these episodes in pairs when it's just Clay and I kind of trading off our hosting duties. We record in pairs, and we just rolled off recording a fantastic episode 38 by David Byrne.
Yeah, Strange Overtones.
Song, Strange Overtones, and that was a fantastic pick. I was just telling Clay off air. I was like, man, I'm still kind of vibing to that song, to be honest.
Yeah. Throw that one on tomorrow.
Yeah, I plan on it. I definitely plan on it. We talked a little bit about our analytics. I don't know if you really want to roll deep into that again with this episode or not, but we can just mention our listenership has been increasing, and so everybody that's been with us since the get-go, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for getting the word out there. We are growing. We are growing, Clay, and it's really just. It's incredible to see, and it's like
it's really satisfying to look at the phone and see the numbers on there. It's nice. It's inspiring.
It's really cool.
And even though we haven't put an episode out in a few weeks, we missed a couple, but we've still seen some pretty decent steady growth. It looks like people are sharing us around. The word is spreading. It's nice.
In that time, I've had two different people with entirely two different areas of my life mention it without me mentioning it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and so I thought, oh man, I was, especially with the more recent when it was kind of in the sports realm with my kids. And someone had mentioned, hey, I found your podcast, and I started following it, and I was like, I was kind of caught off guard because it was mentioned out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. What do you think? And had a lot of good things to, this person had a lot of good things to say about the show, and I don't listen to a couple. She don't listen to a couple episodes, I believe, but yeah, it was just really cool to.
Yes.
For the show to have come up in conversation where I wasn't expecting it to come up,
Yeah, that is so cool.
So thank you very much. Shout out Amber if you hear this one. Thank you for letting me know you're following the show. Thanks.
Yeah, totally.
So anyway, let's see.
We do get excited about talking about the show, and I try not to, I was having like a little job interview the other day. I'm kind of in my day job. I'm trying to go for something kind of different. And, and I was thinking, it's like, I wonder if there'll be a way to tell them like, hey, go listen to my podcast.
Right in the middle of your interview.
They're like, hey, if you, if you're interested about me, you could listen to I Got a Song. No.
Jeez. If you really want to get to know Clay Collins, here's my portfolio, but really just go listen to I Got a Song. And
I'm glad it came up organically and you weren't like, hey, guess what? Check out my show.
No. It was really neat for it to just kind of come up and say, oh, hey, by the way. And I was like, oh, it was a really cool moment. So I'll quit gushing about that. But
we're just a couple of annoying podcasters.
For any of the new people out there, you've obviously already found us in some form or fashion because you're listening to us now. But we are on just about every major podcast platform. So Spotify, Amazon, Google Podcast, Castbox now is, I believe, the newest one, and iHeartRadio.
I forgot to mention that one.
Yeah, oh well.
I don't think anyone's listening on iHeart, but I bet they will.
You never know. Maybe
they'll find us somehow.
Also, we have a social media presence, Twitter/X. You can find us on I Got a Song Pod and Clay.
You can find us on I Got a Song Podcast on Instagram. And there is also the Google voicemail, which we forgot to mention.
Oh, we forgot to mention that on the last episode, didn't we? Drop that number, Clay.
323-903-song. That's 323-903-7664.
Oof. 323-903 song. We've already had at least one. Have we had any more traction on the number? Well, hey,
you can
for dropping just
you don't have to leave a voicemail. You can text that number.
You can text. You can leave a voicemail.
Hey, I got a song. I was listening to y'all, and
let us know what you think. We're not exactly taking requests at this time, but if there's never. So don't come on request. Just let us know what you think. Wow.
Or you could say, hey, you know what?
You know what? What's that, Clay?
Sorry, I was having a malfunction in here. Like
a studio malfunction.
Yeah, studio malfunction here in the closet. I'm trying something different. I'm in a closet today because of the traffic out in front of my house. All the brodozers going by. I'm just tired of hearing that and trying to cut that out and edit all that stuff out of the show. So I decided to sweat it out in this closet, and I've got like some soundproofing little tiles that are falling off the walls and hitting me in the face, and they're not heavy.
One last thing before we kind of really roll into the episode here. I just want to tell Clay two things. One, the vast majority of the producing of this show falls on Clay's shoulders, and I just cannot say enough good things about how much time and effort and heart and soul that Clay that you put into this show. And I really appreciate what you do with the show.
Thank you.
And
I enjoy it. It's so fun.
I've said it to you before. I feel like I just don't pull enough of my own weight, but man, you're really knocking this producer stuff out of the park, dude. So,
well, I'm learning a little bit something new, every time, and we're trying to get a little bit better every time. And
oh yeah.
I think we are. I think I definitely from episode 001, up to now, there's been improvements.
Oh yeah.
Just over a few months.
No doubt.
We haven't even been doing this for a year yet.
Second thing I was going to say is that this is well past your normal bedtime, and so we're kind of on a graveyard shift tonight just because of our schedules. But we really had a big desire to go ahead and get a couple more episodes out for everybody and kind of get get the train rolling again. And so,
well,
thank you for.
I'm great. I'm ready to roll.
Thank you for
into
making
it, man.
yourself available here. So,
absolutely.
What I wanted to say to kind of get us going into the episode here is that it's an observation that you'll agree with for sure. I have always felt like, ever since probably back to high school, but definitely college and moving forward from there, is I feel like Michael, have always kind of been playing this perpetual catch up with my music. And what I mean by that is that I'm always catching up to the music that like my friends have already been clued into for however long, for years, decades, whatever. Part of a small function of that has to do with the music that I was raised on. I was primarily raised on country and gospel, and was not really exposed to too much else in my formative years beyond that until probably junior high and especially high school, when I'm spending a lot more time with my friends outside of the home, that sort of thing. And so even with like 90s alternative, which is really where I spend a lot of time musically, I mean, you and I had an awakening with, Third Eye Blind last year,
right.
A band that we disregarded for so long. So long. And we are still kicking ourselves for like, how did we disregard these guys for so long? Because that album, that album plus some stuff they recorded since then is just so good.
So rewarding.
So good.
So rewarding.
And so I'm constantly
we were
playing
too cool.
catch up.
We just thought we were too cool for Third Eye Blind.
Yeah. Stuff that you were raised on, or stuff that you appreciated far earlier than me. I came late to the Smashing Pumpkins. I came late to Nirvana. I knew these guys, especially with the exposure I had to them, but it took me a while. It took me a while to really dive in, like you guys had already done, and in some cases had done for a good while. So I'm going to send the song. I'm going to send is 90s Alternative. It's a 90s alternative band.
Nice.
Okay. It's a band that I had heard of from back in the day. I knew very vaguely, very, very little about. Did not really get an appreciation for until last year. Okay,
all right.
you might already have an idea. You probably do.
I think I do.
But you probably do. I'm going to go ahead and send you the song.
Oh, boy.
And I'm going to do a little slightly different with this one.
Okay.
It's a band you know well, okay, and that I have done research on, but I really kind of want you to take the reins on the research here. I've got notes, but
okay,
you're probably going to be doing more of the talking as far as this than me. So
all right, I'll
here
jump
I am.
in
What
where
I'm
I
doing,
can, of course.
What I'm doing is how this works is that I've picked the song ahead of time. I'm sharing a link to the song. I'm sending it to Clay through text, so he does not know yet. I'm sending it now, and when he sees it on his text is how he'll react, and then we're going to go listen to it and come back and talk about it. So right. I've sent the song, and so Clay, you tell me what you got.
We have Dinosaur Jr. I love Dinosaur Jr. with
yes.
I'm so happy.
What's the song? Me. Okay, all right. No, okay. Was this who you had in mind whenever I started talking about that?
When I started putting it together, yes, I thought Dinosaur Jr., but I wasn't sure exactly which song.
Okay, we'll get into the meat of why and how and all that I got into Dinosaur Jr. And of course I want to get your trajectory with him because you've been a big fan for a long time.
Absolutely.
This is going to be Get Me by Dinosaur Jr. from the album Where You Been. I believe that comes from 93. Is that from 93?
You tell me, Mr. Host. I think it's 92. I think it's 92 or 3.
It's 93 is what it is. 93.
Yeah.
All
that's
right.
Great, man. This is amazing. I'm so ready. I love this song.
Let's do it.
do it. Let's go. All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Well, I don't see you, I won't call you, I don't know enough to stall you. Is it me or is it all you? Guess it's on and on. On a day maybe I'd show you, but it's least of all I go through. But the thing is, I don't know you, and it's on and on. The trembling words don't make my...
Okay, that was Get Me from the album Where You Been by Dinosaur Jr. is recorded in 1992, released in February of 1993.
Nice.
Man, like I got some emotion in that song, dude.
What a treat.
I know you do. I know you do.
I love Dinosaur Jr. Man.
All right. I'll tell you my trajectory with Dinosaur Jr. It's quite short. You have been a champion of Dinosaur Jr. for many, many years, and I remember seeing this CD on your shelf for so long. Yeah,
Still there.
Yeah, and it's still there, and I'm sure it always will be. But I am pretty sure I'd heard the song. There's another song on this album that's quite popular. I think it's one of Dinosaur Jr.'s most recognizable and popular songs, called "Start Choppin'."
Start chopping.
Start Choppin', and it's on the same album. I've known that song for a good while, and it's a great song. I just never really went beyond that. But I'll tell you what it did it for me. Two things, actually. Okay. So was it last year, Clay, that we went to the show?
I believe so.
Maybe early to mid last year? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Last year. So at least 2023. Yes. Dinosaur Jr. was touring, and they came through Dallas. And so Christopher and Clay were both like, hey, we're getting tickets to go to this show. And talking to me, you should come too, Michael. Okay, I don't know much Dinosaur Jr. I don't listen to him, but, I'll go to have a good time. And it was a great show.
Yeah.
It was a great show.
Yeah, it really was. And, that's the first time I'd ever seen him. And it really took me a long time to finally get to see him. I'd seen Jay solo.
Yeah.
But I had not seen Dinosaur Jr.
And you had said even before we went to the show that this is like a bucket list, just have to see him at some point kind of show.
I think I'd had other opportunities, and it just for whatever reason it just didn't work out, or I wouldn't. I don't know, something, but this is the first time.
Yeah. So it was the three of us plus our old friend Father Photius, and who was also another just huge Dinosaur Jr. fan.
He's the reason why I'm into him.
And so I'm surrounded by old friends that are just way, way, way deep with this band, and here I am, just kind of fringe at best, but I had a good time, and it's another three piece that we here. I Got a Song. We love our three pieces.
Oh,
and, and I remember when they got to and played "Get Me," this song, and I was like, man, I had heard it, but it didn't really click until that moment. And then not long after that, where, just me, you, and Christopher were chit chatting in our little text thread, and you shared the song "Get Me," and you're like, dude, this song is like triumphant. I think if I remember right, triumphant is the word that you used,
Yes,
or like
those
soaring.
solos.
And I was like, I'm going to give this another listen. So I went and just played it right then. I was like, oh man, it finally landed. This song is just amazing, and
is.
I haven't let it go since. And, I mean, prepping for this episode, I've literally listened to it multiple dozens of times, and
Yes.
I keep especially that last solo. It's about the last minute and a half of the song is just incredible, and I will listen to the whole song and then rewind back to that last minute and a half and listen to the solo just over and over and over again because it's so good. It's so
It's
good.
soaring. It's
And-
soaring. It's just,
Yeah, dude, it's just-
and I love it.
You know,
Jay Mascis,
so
man, he's just got
Tell
it.
me, so you mentioned that Father Photius got you into Dinosaur Jr. So I'd imagine this we're talking going back to '90s.
Yep.
Uh,
I can
and
tell you
as-
this album, Where You Been?
was this the gateway?
Yes. I listened to this album the same day that he and I listened to Siamese Dream, like kind of start to finish. He came over to my house when I was living in Gladewater, just like for a summer, while
Okay.
our current house was being built, and we were in between houses, and so we were living near, like, kind of next door to my grandparents. And he came over, and he brought this album along with Siamese Dream, and probably some other ones, but we rocked that pretty hard, and then we played this one, and it really landed for me, just like right there at the same time as Siamese Dream. He brought both of those CDs, and
Man,
oh my gosh,
he brought the thunder with just those two albums.
I mean, really, I mean,
just
just those two. You're pretty set.
Yeah.
You're in good shape.
It's just another one of these, and I'm like woefully behind on Dinosaur Jr. I've gone back through and I've listened to Where You've Been in its entirety, and it's a great album, and I'm just kind of digging into some of their other output. But just my point being, how far behind I was, and how it just sometimes it hurts that I could have experienced these bands so much earlier, and they could have been, a part of my life and routine for so much longer.
I know what you mean. There's bands that I've got that where I feel like that, where I'm late, or maybe I'm still quite not there with some bands.
Well, can you give me like an example? Because there's been so many bands that I've like caught up as a result of the recommendations by you, by Christopher, by Father Photius, by so many other people. But I feel I'm just curious what like an example from you.
Tool.
Tool. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever they were a thing, like in the mid 90s, and a couple of our friends were into them. We didn't listen to them a whole lot, but there was something about them that I was like, they're kind of dark, and I don't know if I'm gonna get really into them. Their music sounds okay. I didn't really get into it, and I was just like, I don't know. There's something kind of dark about them that I'm just not interested in looking at, and I don't know. I just like, it's like, it seems cool enough, but I'll just move on to something else. But then slowly, like, I've started to get into Tool more, and like, especially within the past couple of years. I mean, I was gonna go see them with Chris. And we had tickets, and we were going to go see them with Elder, earlier this year,
Right.
or late last year. And I ended up having the flu or something. I couldn't go. And so
I remember
Corey
you were
went,
sick and you
Coco
couldn't go,
went
but
with him.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to go, but it's taken me a while for some reason. Like, I feel like I should be into Tool, like hard into Tool.
Right.
They're like right in my lane, and I'm
kind of are.
like I like them now. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still not like I don't have a Tool shirt or anything like that. I haven't seen them live still, but no, there's some. I feel like that. I'm late to the party with Tool,
And that's exactly how I feel with so many bands, and now Dinosaur Jr. included, and it's just.
You feel bad though that you're like man, I've wasted all this time that I could have been listening to Tool.
I mean, I'm not like down
or
on
Dinosaur
myself.
or somebody.
I'm not down on myself. It's just one of those things where it's like the feeling that I had, and I kind of equate it to back in college when I first got into Pink Floyd, and it was all I listened to for months is Pink Floyd. Once Pink Floyd kind of clicked with me,
Yeah.
I couldn't get enough. Could not get enough. Like the early stuff, not Sid Barrett, but like the early Pink Floyd as we know it. Early, the middle stuff, the later stuff, the after Roger Waters left stuff, just all of it. I could not get enough. And now, 25 years later, I have. They've
got in the
been
metal,
with me.
That album.
Yeah.
So,
they've been with me for all this time, and there's these bands that have been with me all this time. That if I'd have gotten a deeper appreciation for some of these other ones that I've just only really gotten into recently, it'd have been like they could have kind of ridden through life with me,
Yeah.
And
you can only
that's
start.
just what I feel.
You can only start where you start.
Yeah, that's true. And
I'm
it's
just
still
thankful.
fun.
I'm just thankful that you found them.
And it's still fun to like jump in,
Yeah.
even now, and especially now that we've got. I don't have to go try to track down all these CDs. I don't have to try to figure out how to listen to them. I can just pull up, every album and just put it on repeat, or
for the
put it
most
on,
part,
random.
Even
or
hard
whatever.
stuff that's hard to find, you can find it on YouTube and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
an amazing time.
Absolutely, and it's such a great time to be able to consume music and to be able to consume these artists that I missed out on for so long. So. And that's what I've been doing with Dinosaur Jr. And I remember the day that you shared that song and I went and listened to Get Me later, you had mentioned something about the lyrics where it's like the lyrics are actually kind of sad in places. And there's one line in particular that says, "You're not going to get me through this, are you?"
You're not gonna get me through this, are you?
And it's like, man, that can sting depending on who you're saying it to or if it's being said to you. It's like,
yeah.
It's not a straight condemnation. It's like,
well, maybe you're also realizing like, hey, you can't put this weight on this person.
right, yeah.
You're not going to get me through this.
all of this. Are you? And
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, you're realizing. It's like,
But then, like,
you can't put
the
all your
hope.
hope into a person, into one person.
But then the guitar solos, like they're so triumphant and just, I mean, it's like you get your hope through the solo. You get your hope through the music.
They inject some life and
you feel the life and the hope in the like the instrumental parts of the song with the guitar solos and everything. And it's just like, God, you can't help but just smile when you're listening to these solos. And by the way, solos plural, there's like 3.
right.
There's like a small one, and then there's like a medium one, and then the chorus comes back in for like one bar, and then he launches into like the final solo, and the final solo is just unbelievable. And I remember Father Photius said this one time. He was actually referring to David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, but he said David Gilmour has a great economy of notes, which means when he plays guitar, there's not a wasted note. He's got great economy of notes.
I agree with that about Gilmour, yeah.
And I feel like that can be applied to these solos that you hear in the song "Get Me." Jay Mascis is playing the guitar here, and there's not a wasted note. There's like there's feeling in these solos. There's emotion. I mean,
I agree. They sing.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah,
The solo is just more than just him pecking a guitar. He's like. It's like lyrical without words. I don't know.
And he's just like bending every last ounce of juice out of like squeezing every last little piece of, thing that he can out of every little note.
He's getting as much song out of that guitar as he possibly can. And it's like he leaves nothing on the table, and he's just pushing this guitar to within an inch of his life. It's just, it's such just an accomplishment.
I love that whole album is just there's so many great guitar moments on that album. It's just that album like, when we think about early to mid 90s, that era of alternative rock and that grunge era, even though they're not grunge or whatever, but they're in that vein. That album, like Dinosaur Jr. is like, they cannot be overlooked. They just they have to be in the conversation.
And what's funny and what's cool about that? I don't even remember if I said anything about this to you guys at the Dinosaur Jr. show that we went to. But do you remember the name of the opening band at that show?
Nope.
I don't either, and I really wish I could remember it because I'd shout them out. But they did a great job, and it's this band of younger guys. They were all kind of younger, they're younger than us by some degree.
Was that the one where you bought that shirt?
No, that was Explosions in the Sky. What you're thinking of?
Who was that opener? They were terrible.
No, they weren't terrible. They were great. And you suck, dude. You suck. That is why you suck.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, I wish I could remember the name of that
can't remember
band.
who opened for
Anyway,
Dinosaur Jr.
So they opened, and then they got off the stage, and they're just kind of milling around the crowd listening to Dinosaur Jr. Well, towards the end of the Dinosaur Jr. show, I wanted to step outside for some fresh air, and three of the guys from that opener band are standing outside, and they're getting their own fresh air or whatever. And I get to chit chatting with them, and tell them, hey guys, you did a fantastic job. You rocked it up there. Thanks. And they got to talking. They were like, we've only been a band for like 3 or 4 years, and we're having a great time playing. And it's like they were like, we got this like opportunity of a lifetime to open for one of the greatest alternative bands from the 90s. And they had such a reverence for Dinosaur Jr.
That's great.
And these guys can't be more than like 30, And
but they know they're up there with rock royalty.
Oh yeah. That's how they were treating them. They were revering Dinosaur Jr. as rock royalty. And again, I was like, man, how did I not get into these guys sooner? It's like I almost feel like I owe Jay Mascis like an apology or something. But anyway, yeah, I shared
he's
the
okay
songs.
with
I knew
it. I promise he's okay with
it. I'm sure he's cool. He'd be like,
He'd just
what?
be
It's
like,
all right.
Whatever.
Okay, thanks.
That's okay. But, in his monotone voice, he's like, that's okay. That's cool. That's
cool. Thanks. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. Go away. Anyway, I don't know what else I can say about him, really, honestly. I mean,
I think I listened to. I've got that. Well, I'm going to look at their discography. Well, you know what? Let me find my phone is out here somewhere.
Oh my!
Darn.
Darn.
It's in my pocket.
So,
all right. So after this one, Where You Been came. What was the next one after that?
well, let's see.
I'm getting there.
Where You Been was the
Without
next
a
one is
Sound.
Without a Sound.
I think I listened to Without a Sound pretty close after Where You Been. I think we were probably listening to that. I think when we were listening to Where You Been, it had already been out for a year or two, because I think we were listening to Without a Sound right about the same time.
Okay.
So those two I remember going, like, kind of listening to those back to back.
And I remember the cover on this one too. See, I recognize all these album covers because I remember seeing them, changing hands so much, riding around with you guys when you were big into listening to them, and I didn't give a damn at the time,
Yeah.
It's just, but I recognized all these album covers.
So, like, during this time, along with, those two albums, and then the next one, Handed Over, that's not the current lineup.
Right.
That's just Jay Mascis and Murph, the drummer.
Murph's the drummer.
Without Lou Barlow.
Right. But Lou Barlow was the bassist who rejoined some years later and currently makes up the trio now, correct?
Yeah, right. They were all together from the beginning in about 1985, whenever their first album, Dinosaur, came out. And then they did You're Living All Over Me and Bug, and then Green Mind. Those three in a row are three of they just got some amazing stuff. But those three albums are really incredible, and that's the original lineup. And then there's a lot of problems. Lou cuts out and does Sebado, and then they rejoin, or they kind of reform in 2007, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And now they're still that lineup to this day.
And I could tell, like, the three of them, watching the show, that there's this tight unit. They're playing up there. They're having a good time. I mean, you mentioned Jay Mascis with his monotone, and like he doesn't really show just a tremendous amount of emotion, but like, man, the bassist and drummer were just into it hardcore up there. They were just having a ball up there, It was a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, they're always great, and Lou was up there just barefoot, just hammering it out, and just man, they're so good. They're so good. They've just got an energy, and they're such a great three-piece, and I always love seeing Jay up there with three Marshall stacks, like, pointed at his backside, just like cranked.
I was going to say, and if you asked me if you asked me the question later, my answer would be like, if I wanted to talk to them or ask them something, I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself here, but it would have to do with gear, and I'll get to that when we ask that at the end of the show. But
cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a really fun show. They played I don't remember them playing just all that long. They played a pretty concise set, I feel like. They didn't play just for hours on end or anything like that. It wasn't just like an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, they probably didn't go above 90 minutes. That was about it.
Yeah, they played good stuff. They didn't spend a lot of time talking or anything. They just got up there and rocked their faces for an hour and a half, and it was a great show.
Yeah, and I don't think it went late or anything. It was just just a great show.
It was a good time.
I'm really glad I got to see him again. I want to see him.
You said it was a bucket list show, so did Dinosaur Jr. live up to your expectation?
Yes. They were about exactly what I was expecting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, I would say that when I saw him, Jay Mascis, live by himself, which I saw with Father Photius, it was just me and him. It was Jay at a show, and it was a small club, but we were right at the front, pretty much, as close as we wanted to be, and there was plenty of room. It wasn't packed out. But when he came out, he just walked up on stage with a JanSport backpack on and a chair and a guitar, and he just kind of set it down. And he opened up his back. He sat down and opened up his backpack, and just like he had all these ZVEX pedals and like a looper and a fuzz pedal and like maybe one other. But he just kind of pulled them out of a backpack and plugged them up and hooked in his acoustic guitar.
Really?
And he would do songs like this, and he would play just the chords, and then he would solo over it. But he had like his fuzz pedals and stuff, but he was on an acoustic, and it was just fantastic. It was great.
Oh wow! I bet that was cool.
Yeah, and he played a lot of
What time frame would that have been?
Let me think here. We would have seen. It must have been 2002 or something.
Oh man, so like way back. Wow.
Yeah. And Photius tells the story at this show that I almost got in a fight with one of the other fans or something, because the guy.
You gotta tell me the story now.
Well, the guy was I don't know, he was singing really loudly along with Jay.
Okay.
But I mean, we're not that far away from Jay, and
right.
But he's singing really loudly along with, and I think I was like, hey man,
let him sing.
Yeah, it's like. And he was like, nope, and he would just sing and sing, and I was like, come on, dude, just give us, let him do it or something, and like, I think Photius said that I was like gonna, I don't know, like that I was really like apparently very upset with the guy, and that I was gonna like start something. I don't know, but he said that he just like kind of
chopping. Clay, were you going to start chopping and tell him to come get me?
You are so fired. Get that.
I'm so tired.
It's very late. It
is.
Anyway,
terrible jokes.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
Right.
Clay did not fight with a dude at the Dinosaur Jr. show. But anyway, seeing Jay do all that, and he had the pedals and everything, and it was just him sitting on a chair on a stage, and he was great. He was so great.
Oh man, that's so cool. And I guess the whole point I'm trying to make with this song in particular, and the whole the wonderful thing with recorded music is that it's never too late.
Yeah,
it's never too late to gain an appreciation for something you could have overlooked or disregarded in the past. And
I get really excited when I dig something out from the mid '90s that I just never heard before.
I mean, that happened with us, Third Eye Blind, last year. That's happening with you now with Tool.
I heard this album by Helium the other day from like 90 something, and it's fantastic, and it's just been around forever, and I just had never heard it before.
Yeah, man, and the same thing can happen.
The Magic City, that's the album from 1997 by Helium. I heard about that on the Discord and Rhyme podcast, and
yeah.
Man, I mean, that's been around forever, and then like even stuff that's older, but you find it when you find it. I don't know. Yeah. They find you when you're ready.
Yeah, exactly. When you're ready, and that's a really good point, because I obviously wasn't ready for Dinosaur Jr. back in the day, and I kind of wonder if I'd have gotten the appreciation for it back then, if I'd feel the same way now, and maybe so, but also maybe not. Maybe I wore it out back in the day, and then now it's like, well, that was a great song back then, but I'm kind of over it. But again, it's never too late, and I said it many episodes ago. Something along the line of let music do the heavy lifting, and this feels like a song that can lift. Can do some of the lifting for you. Like, the lyrics can be kind of somber in places, but you let the music kind of go along the ride with it, and you feel these emotions. You and I were talking about triumphant, soaring, just elevating, just so many different ways to describe how the music to this song really just picks you up and just throws you. I mean, it's just like here, And
he has
so
a way of
good.
playing that's very expressive.
Yes,
and like he's got just a special way with his fingers on the fretboard. Mm-hmm. He plays like really high action also, and usually when you see him play live, he's usually got a jazz master. But what a lot of people may not realize is that on this album and then the next one, Without a Sound, a whole lot of the solos, I think most all of them are done with a Telecaster that he's very, very fond of, like a really
interesting,
like a late 50s Tele or something that he plays a lot, like that's on a lot of these albums.
No,
but
so cool.
Yeah,
so
live
cool.
You see him with jazz masters. Anyway, that's a little bit of stuff nobody asked for.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No, I just I'm glad you're bringing a lot of your experiences to the table in this episode as well, because like those are the experiences that I don't have. The only experience I have is the show. All of my Dinosaur Jr. experiences within the last year and a half, but you've had them with you for more than half of your life,
Yeah.
And so part of the reason I shared this one was to get your perspective and help me bridge the gap between my year and a half experience and your 25 plus year experience with them. And
now, have you explored any of their stuff, other than Where You Been and Without a Sound, or those where are you at on them?
I'm still kind of right there in the middle. I haven't gone super early with them. I haven't gone more recent, so I'm still kind of devouring Where You Been and Without a Sound. I've listened to a little bit of Bug. That sort of thing. What are your opinions? I like Bug. I like Where You Been more.
Yeah.
I do. I need to go back and revisit. It's almost like revisiting Gish for the Smashing Pumpkins, where I get this tremendous appreciation for like the later stuff, but I really need to go back and kind of really concentrate on the early stuff to kind of see how the sound developed. So,
I think what I did was I started with Where You Been and Without a Sound, and then handed over. I was just like, it took me a while, but I finally bought it. I think I took my time on it, but it was mainly those two. And then I think once they kind of got back together, and I learned a little bit more about the band's history, and then they all kind of came back together in 2007 with the album Beyond, which I love. That's after that. I think once I started liking Beyond, I was like, I need to hear, now that this band is all back together, I need to go back and hear what they really, how they got started. And so I think I went to You're Living All Over Me, and then Bug, and then Green Mind. And then I think it took me a while. I went all the way back to Dinosaur, the 1985 debut, and I found that one at CDs and More.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that little hole in the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Place.
Still there.
And that first album, it's called Dinosaur, and that was the band's name, was Dinosaur. And they had to change it to Dinosaur Jr.
Right.
But originally it was just Dinosaur. So anyway, that album, the self-titled album Dinosaur, I found that at CDs More, and I still have it. I've got a pretty decent, some pretty good physical media of Dinosaur Jr. Some like a Peel Session CD, and like some weird singles, and
oh wow,
a little bit of their newer stuff and some live stuff.
Very cool.
I pretty much bought up whatever Dinosaur Jr. stuff I could find whenever I was steadily collecting CDs. And then there's the J Mascis, Martin, and me. We talked about that on episode 3, The Boy with the Thorn in His Side.
The boy with the thorn in his side. Behind the hatred there lies a murderous desire for love. How can she live?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where that came from, the Martin and Me CD.
Oh, very cool. All right, yeah.
Highly recommended.
Well, man, there's not anything else I can say. I mean, I love this song, and I'm really gaining like this continuous building of appreciation for Dinosaur Jr. And I appreciate you sharing your experience with them as well, even though this was technically my episode, but that's kind of by design because I really wanted to get. Like I said, I think I'd mentioned wanting to bridge that gap between my very young experience and your very mature experience with this band, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Now, since you've read a little bit about this one and everything, if you met Jay and Lou and Murph, even after what research you've done on this particular episode, is there any kind of question that you would want to ask them
with
about this song?
With Lou and Murph, the drummer and the bassist, I would just love to sit and just listen to like the two of them just do like a rhythm section jam, and just I'm a big rhythm section person anyway. I love bass, I love drums, and they just seemed like they had such a damn good time at that show playing together, and they seemed like a tight unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if I was going to talk to J Mascis, I'd really want to talk gear because you mentioned it. So at his shows, he builds like these 3 towering stacks of guitar cabinets directly behind him and like pointing at him.
Yeah,
it's
like a semicircle.
It's like
pointing at his backside.
Yeah, it's like a semicircle, all pointing to his backside while he's playing. And didn't you tell me that it's because he just likes the feeling of his own music just pelting him in the back, like pummeling him?
Of course.
And
yeah, that feel of the sound just like punching him in the back. I guess from those Marshall stacks.
These are no small stacks, man. They tower. He's
they're 6
got to
foot
be
tall.
like a 6 foot tall guy, and they tower over him. It's just, he's enveloping himself in his own sound, which is
and then he's got
really cool.
And then he's got just a fantastic pedal board of stuff.
It's the stuff.
There's lots of great gear rig rundowns with him.
I'd
talking about
love
his
to
different
just
guitars and pedals. He's great.
Pick his brain about gear, and you're Clay. You're even more of a gearhead than I am as far as guitar, pedals, amps, things like that. And
I've actually got the J Mascis Big Muff pedal.
You do, and I believe
the J
you love
Mascis
it.
edition.
I believe you love it. So
I like it very much. Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, that would be it. I would just want to kind of have a drum and bass jam session with those guys, and then just talk gear with J Mascis, and just tell the 3 of them thank you, and I apologize for not coming around sooner.
Well, Lou Barlow has got his own podcast. He's got his own podcast with his wife.
Now? No kidding. What's the subject?
I'm not sure. I think he makes some of the music for it, and I'm not sure exactly what their thing is.
I'll have to track that down because that'd be interesting to see, what their interests are and what they're chatting about.
Yeah.
But
I ought to check it out. I'm really not sure.
Well, that's all I got, Clay.
Man, you picked a great song. I love Dinosaur Jr. and this song is just like easily in a top 5 all-time favorite Dinosaur Jr. songs. And
so
and you know what? I think I had this song on my list. Let me go look real quick. Yeah, I think I did. This happens every now and then.
Wow.
Because you and I had
we keep every now and then we steal each other's thunder, so to speak. I know you've done it to me a few times where you've thrown Marvin Gaye out there when you know that's more of my wheelhouse, and then
Oh yeah, yep, yeah.
and
You had the
then
Marvin Gaye. Yeah, I did. Ain't no mountain high enough.
you did, and what a song, by the way. But yeah, dude. I know I've mentioned before that I've had one song that I kept kind of passing over. This was not it either, by the way. but I know this one's been cooking with me for a while.
Yeah,
that I
there it
wanted to
is.
do
It's
on
actually
here.
"Get Me" is like the second, or maybe like even third song that I have on the list for the show.
Oh dang!
It goes way back. It says, okay, here's my notes on it. I'll just tell you. It said, "Get Me, Dinosaur Jr. dash heroic, comma soaring guitar solos."
Heroic. That's the other word I was trying to think of. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, that was it. Heroic
Yes.
guitar solos.
And it's just a perfect description. It really is. It
Now I can
transcends.
put a check mark on that one because it is now in the books.
In the books. Yep. Well, Clay.
Well, Michael.
I think we're going to wrap this one up. Then it's just, you're usually the one to say it, but the music is a gift, and we encourage everyone to share generously. If you're trying to listen to new music and you've got friends that are big into music, see if they'll recommend something from the past. Revisit something from the past, or see hey, what are some bands that you were really into back in the day that you think
maybe I haven't heard of.
Yeah, and you can really
give me something weird.
There's so many gold mines to be discovered or rediscovered from the past, and don't be afraid to dig into something. You might be a connoisseur of 80s hair metal, or you might be a connoisseur of 70s singer songwriter, but just there's so much good music out there that both past and present. Open the doors, get your friends to open the doors for you, and go find that stuff. There's still so much rewarding stuff out there. So
yeah, go dig for some gold, and go ahead and scroll through our list of shows and see something you don't recognize. If you think that you can tolerate another conversation of us talking about something else, some kind of song that maybe you don't recognize, you might have tuned into this one because you recognize the song and you love Dinosaur Jr. But maybe you scroll down and you're like, who is Pink Shiny Ultra Blast? What is that?
Yes.
Who is Brenton Wood? What is that? Who are the Beach Boys? What's Beach Boys? Let's see what this is.
Let's figure it out.
Give us a
Russian
shot.
circles? What is that?
What's Russian circles? Yeah. Dive into
Only
that,
the best friggin' band ever. Oh, I mean, anyways.
Well, it's funny. This kind of brings up. Coco mentioned. He said, we talked about how he didn't like a Fleetwood Mac song.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't like Rumors or whatever. He said, but if you two are talking about it and y'all are having a decent conversation, I still probably won't listen to that song, but I would listen to y'all talk about it and, maybe learn a little bit of something.
Right, yeah. I remember him saying that.
And maybe I might be convinced.
And that struck a note with me that he would offer that, even though his disdain for Fleetwood Mac in general was well documented in that episode.
Yeah, but, there's as an example, that 60 songs that explain the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely.
We love that show.
We do.
There's a lot of those songs are like songs I would just, hit skip on every time.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But I love music, and I am open to learning something and giving it a second shot and hearing a different perspective and hearing the story behind it.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. There's so many songs.
So even if it's a song like
the
the Macarena or something, that's an interesting story.
Yeah, oh yeah, all the interesting stories, and there's like a Bonnie Raitt song that I just can't stand. He did an episode on, but the episode was interesting, and so likewise, I mean, there's so many ways you can, maybe it's even a song or a band or an artist that you didn't like that you can revisit and gain an appreciation for. There's things like that. There's so many ways to receive the gift of music.
Yes.
And just let it carry you. Let it roll with you. So
absolutely.
Anyway,
Mikey, thanks, dude.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, Clay.
Brought another great one, dude. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this particular episode.
It will, and man, we got a lot of good things coming down the pipe, and we're excited about what's coming. So we'll keep you informed, and let's get another couple episodes done. You ready to roll into 2 more, Clay?
Right now? Yes. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, all right. It's only like midnight 30 or almost 1 a.m. your time. So
that's correct.
I think you've still got a little gas left in the tank, don't you, Clay?
No, I gotta hit the hay.
Same. All right, Clay.
Oh, what a pleasure, though.
Thanks
anyway,
a lot, man.
I love the show, guys. Share music with your friends. It is a gift. Share generously, and send the show around to your friends too. We appreciate it.
Please do.
All right, I love you guys. All right, see you, Mikey.
See you, Clay.
Bye bye.
Hey, we really appreciate you listening to the show. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, go ahead and check out the rest of our episodes and share them with your friends. Be sure to follow us and find us on Instagram at I Got a Song Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at I Got a Song Pod. And we would love to hear your voice, so leave us a Google voicemail at 323-903-SONG. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Sorry. You were like 39, right? As it rolled over to 0. Okay. Right.
I tried to get it in before it started, but I'll just cut it out.
All right.
Or leave it all in.
We'll just cut. And re-scene.
Sul.